back. What's good, man?
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on?
Some crazy stuff happening in the world we ain't never going to talk about again. And with that said, let's talk about Lil Durk and Young Thug situation, man. And I wanted to talk about something. I was watching a commentary by the Company Man on
Hmm.
YouTube when you're talking about the lost generation of rappers, the rappers who were caught up at a time where they all came out together. You got XXXTentacion, you got YMW Melly, you got Lil Durk, Young Thug, Juice World. You got all these individuals, Quando Rondo, Vaughn, um, where the Chief Keef was the founder of drill music, but he was also like a founder of that generation of a certain type of rap music. It was
Yeah.
back to that Midwest thuggery, maybe, if you want to call it that, where a lot of these
Hmm.
rappers were talking about we went from backpack rap and with Chief Keef, he brought it back to, well, you could say gangster rap. But it really wasn't, they don't call it gangster rap, they call it like drill music. And how all this generation got caught up in that. And, he was talking about they're kind of a lost generation because of the crime, because of the violence around this music at that time. And I just wanted to get what your opinion of this generation of rap is because I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of out of touch with it. The right reason I bring up Ryan W. Melly because he's that one rapper out of this whole group that I actually listen to. Lil Durk
Okay.
is cool too. I listen to Lil Durk, but Ryan W. Melly, of all those rappers, was the one that I actually liked. Like I enjoy listening to his music. I would like check it out regularly.
Interesting to say the least.
I know, because you know me, I don't really listen to certain rappers, but I liked Ryan W. Melly. And when he got
Um.
caught up in the nonsense, I was like, damn, this whole generation is all caught up in a
Well,
layer of bullshit.
I did watch the video from the company man that had some people that I actually watch outside of him on it, such as FD Signifier and also Curtis King. I watch Curtis King a lot because I like the way he talks about the music industry and everything because it gives a lot of insight. Even though I'm this associated with the music industry and I have no desire to be a rap artist as I wanted to back in the day, I
Mm-hmm.
still find a lot of the things that happen and the way it moves around it quite interesting. And him being a completely soul independent producer slash artist slash rapper, I like when he tells how things happen and him also being on the front lines of understanding how technology plays a heavy part in a lot of things that's going on. So I watch his show a lot because I'll find he has a very interesting take on things that I'm like, I can see why that's going on like this. But
What do you think the role of technology and its influence has had on the outcome of some of these guys?
the role of technology is that this generation right here, the one that you're kind of trying to talk about in a certain way, they didn't have to go through the actual big record label to be able to make whatever they considered their art and get it out to the generation that would listen to them, which is a generation that is still connected to YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
SoundCloud, those things. That is the reason that these artists are so big and ingrained, especially with the generation that is probably like three generations under me. But because I have nieces and nephews that know lyric for lyric, word for word, damn near all these artists, and I'm a hip hop head, I'm a music person, the reason I'm aware and understand what's going on with them. That is the reason that these as artists are so big in the atmosphere now. And older generations such as you, myself, unless you're really in tune with it and have somebody that's giving you the music, or even if you actually go out and search for the music, you're probably never really going to hear it. So, and I understand that, but me, I'm trying to find the newest thing. I'm still listening. I still keep my ear, quote unquote, to the streets, and I have family members that still listen to me. I have family members from the Midwest. They'll send me all the Chicago drill music, anything that's coming out of there. So I know what I know why the music is so big, and I also understand why a lot of people don't understand why it's so big. To backtrack a little bit, one thing that you brought up is Chief Keef is the funny thing about Chief Keef. You read his interview. Chief Keef, He said, no, all I grew up listening to because my mom played it was 50 Cent. 50 Cent was the first generation of that, of I'm real because I really did get shot. I'm real because this, that, and the other. And that was one of the bigger things about quote unquote being real that kind of transpired along. Because if Chief Keef grew up in whatever underprivileged area in Chicago, he grew up listening to 50 Cent telling his New York street stories about his real life. Chief Keef wants to make a song. I don't have a record label. I don't have a budget, but yet I got all my friends and we want to be rappers too. Chief Keef is connected to Lil Durk. And you know what? We got our iPhones. We can shoot our own videos. We have YouTube. We can post them. Then people find out, whoa, these kids or these people of my peers are living this life talking about these things. And it wasn't I'm fly, I'm flashy. It was this is my enemy. This is my op. That's where the word op comes from too. This is my op, and this is how I got him back, or this is how I'm going to get him back, or this is what we're going to do to get him back. This is how we keep score. This is how we run it up. And then also going in and proving the stuff that they were actually saying, or recounting the tale of how it happened. So if I don't have to go through a record label to vet me to say, wait a minute, are you really a gangster? Are you really a thug? Or the thing that they said in the video, well, if you're not, we can make you one. No, there was all proof and evidence that they were. They were young men, young kids that made their own music, produced their own videos, uploaded to YouTube, and a generation that weird generation between being real and authentic, such as the kind of the end of 50 Cent era, and then that generation between I'm rich and I can buy and ball, which they didn't have. That's how they kind of get wedged in between. That's how I take it because that's how I heard the music. And then so on you go forth that Chief Keef, he is kind of they call him the grandfather of the drill thing, but also within drill, there's different angles of it. There's New York drill and there's Chicago drill, then there's UK drill. The word drill really came from the way the UK people, UK rappers were doing their beats. But then the way the Chicago rappers, the Midwest rappers talk about it was more of the violent. I'm doing a drill. I'm doing a killing. I'm about to go get my get back, get my lick back. New York drill, it's more of the rap style and then the beats, but they also talk about very similar things the way the Midwest rappers talk about. So those are the three different drill things that go on with drill. But majority of these rappers, the big ones, Lil Durk, he's a drill artist. Funny enough, on the cover, our thumbnail, we got Young Thug. Young Thug is not a drill rapper. He isn't. He comes off the tree of Little Wayne. The best thing about Young Thug is that he is extremely creative, can write songs, except that he was really still involved in the gang culture of Atlanta. So it makes it a little bit different. Everything going okay over there? Sorry, I thought I put that on mute. Say something right now. I think I hear you through the room, but I don't think I hear you through anything. Actually, I don't think. Hold on. I'm double checking my audio too right now. Yeah. All right. Cool. So yeah, your sound is not coming through. My sound is. All right. So apologize, y'all. We having technical difficulties. Shout out to who is this in the chat though? Shout out to Strange Strange. What's up? What's up? What's up? Oh man, technical difficulties, man. Mic down, mic down. He said mic down, mic down, mic down. All right. Okay. So all right. So some of the key things that a lot of people don't understand is what I already said is that no, so Chief Keef for that Midwest style of drill music, that is the more popular way of rapping with the younger generation. That all was birthed from Chief Keef growing up listening to 50 Cent. The funny thing is that Chief Keef, he was the blowout with this ain't what I like and everything, but he's connected to Lil Durk. They're both from the same area in Chicago, 300 block and everything else. Interestingly enough, though, Little Durk to me had always been the better rapper. Um, so when you get them together and get them into this, I hear some weird feedback. I don't know what just happened. All right. So when you get them when Chief Keef blows up, Lil Durk is right there with him. Lil Durk at the time looks very clean cut, square. I mean, but what he's rapping about is more real shit than Chief Keef is rapping about. So there's a difference between them. Chief Keef has the look, the image, but he's not really that deep into it. Lil Durk doesn't necessarily have the look and the image, but he is really deep into it.
Uh
And this
huh.
is not involving music. This is real gang, Chicago, Midwest street shit. But he's the one that most people are gravitating to because the stories that he's telling, there's news articles about it, there's cases about it, there's real things about it. So he continues on his trajectory. He becomes the voice. I don't know him, Lil Durk, and Polo G, who's also from the Midwest, who doesn't fall in the same lines of a full fledged drill rapper, but they're connected too. But Polo G becomes the hero
Uh huh.
because he does more motivation of get your hustle up, get out the hood, move back, no, don't move back, buy your mama house, I find private jets, all these things.
Yeah.
Compared to Little Dirk, who's still basically telling the tales of the hood and things that he is actually connected to, fully knows about, or that his gang has allegedly participated in.
Uh huh.
So that's why Lil Durk becomes the voice. So between those two in Chicago or the Midwest per se, Polo G is the hero because he is the motivation, but Dirk is the voice because Dirk is telling you the truth, and
Yeah.
there's shit that proves that he tells you the truth.
Mhm.
So going down the line, uh, Dirk outshines Chief Keef. Chief Keef is trying to make a comeback, but his sound doesn't
Yeah,
resonate the
so
same
so
way.
why did that
He's trying.
happen? Why did Chief Keef fall off like that? My voice is back in now. Why did he fall off like that? What was it
In
that?
my opinion, Chief Keef fell off because Chief Keef could not match Dirk's realness. Point blank. Period. He
Oh,
couldn't.
what you're saying is that the the violence behind Lil Durk was considered more real than Chief Keef's, and therefore Chief Keef could not compete with him.
Basically, yes. Chief Keef was the one that wanted to be the rapper.
Uh huh.
Dirk was just his friend. And he's just like, oh, I'll rap with you, man, blah, 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 blah. Because it'll blow your mind if you go back and watch the old videos. Chief Keef was the image of what people fear, the young black man with
Really?
dreads and his shirt off and all that stuff. But no chains, no goals, no none of that. Dirk, clean cut, varsity jacket, no
Uh huh.
tattoos, none of that. And but Dirk was saying the more crazier and realer things, and that would blew people's minds. Like, wait, Chief, when Chief, we listen to your music, we don't know if this really happened. When we listen to Dirk stuff, we know the cousin of the dude that got shot, killed, robbed, whatever it was. He's been arrested. He's been on the news, but he looked at like the most college freshman kid
Who
ever
Chief
at
Keef
the
did?
time. No, Dirk did.
Oh, I thought you meant what looked like a college. Oh, okay. So you're saying that Lil Durk looked like a college kid, but he was always adjacent to these crimes. And when he talked about them in his music, it had that realism to it, and people were searching
Because
for
he
that realism.
also because he had the realism. Dirk had the realism. That's the thing that Dirk was real. Chief Keef was not as real.
But didn't
Like it's
Chief
one thing
Keef
to
had
go say,
like?
"Hey, we're growing up poor." It's another thing to say, "No, I killed somebody though," and then somebody will say, "Like, well, I rap about killing somebody," and somebody like, "No, but I really killed somebody though."
Do you think?
That's the
Do
difference.
you think Lil Durk really killed somebody?
Do I think Lil Durk really killed somebody? I don't think Lil Durk really killed somebody. I know that he. Well, let me not say I know. I do assume heavily that he is connected to a lot of unfortunate mishappenings that took place in Chicago surrounding anything that was particularly gang related with certain areas in certain parts of their metropolis. Let me say that in the most clean way possible.
Yeah. Do you think the glorification of this lifestyle in Chicago has really compromised this whole generation of rap, even if it's only like little threads connecting these guys together? Because for an
Do I think?
outsider, like, okay, for instance, for an outsider like me looking
Okay.
in, this generation seems to have this violent thread that goes across the whole of the United States. It touches every state, regardless if the drill music is connected just to Chicago. It feels like this thread of violence goes through the whole of the United States, all the way to California, to Chicago. I think this obsession with realism has crept into other areas, which would, in the past, would have been excluded from that experience. emo rap, for instance, like XXXTentacion, I feel like got. I think that threat of violence entered into his world, even though he himself was not about that type of music.
Yeah, the way I see it, and this is strictly my opinion, they have this, I don't want to say it's a fantasy, this attraction to, and it's not the same as in being in California. They have this attraction to group gang style culture. Because if you pay attention, they all have their chains that have the certain letters on it, the YSL, the OTF, all those things. And those are coded languages, which I'm giving up the T, but those are coded languages for this is who I belong to, or this is my crew, this is my set. And it's always it's not the same as a straight up saying I'm a Crip or I'm a Blood, but it's a very changed thing. And understanding that, because this is one thing that blew my mind when I figured out some things about some people. They figured out that if I can make a lot of money doing this and somebody else sees me making a lot of money doing this and is based on the realism that it is, that somebody's going to invest a little bit extra into me so then I can get that extra push.
Mm-hmm.
One of the more interesting people too, and he's not on the thumbnail or anything, is NBA YoungBoy.
Uh-huh.
NBA YoungBoy has been on house arrest for like 5 years for things associated with very similar things. He makes very similar music, but he worked out a deal to where basically he doesn't go to jail. He has to do all his recordings and everything from his house arrest home, which is a giant ranch up in like Utah or some shit, because he can't be around any gang members or anything. But the record label still provides him with anything he wants. He still shoots videos and everything. They're boring as fuck because he's just at his house arrest house. They'll fly people in. They can't be gang member related or anything like that. And that's all he does. He came up because
His
he
name is
put
NBA
all his
Youngboy
music.
or something.
Yeah, NBA YoungBoy.
What's the NBA have to do with it?
And it's an initial. It's an initial for something.
Oh, okay. I was say, all
It has
right, all
nothing to
right.
do with the NBA.
I was just wondering because I heard the
But
name before. I don't know much about him, but I've heard that
no,
name,
he
and
is
I was
one
like,
of the
what the hell does
ones.
NBA YoungBoy have to? What's NBA have to do with the YoungBoy?
I forgot what the NBA stands for
Oh,
and this
okay.
thing, but it's the same thing like OTF, only the family, and all those things like that.
Mm-hmm.
300, that's also the area in Chicago, the block where they're from, but they also, it's a quasi gang thing. But then also Kevin Lyles, his record company that Dirk them is signed to is 300 Entertainment. And but see, it's all those little overlays of connections and things. So when
Uh-huh.
Dirk yelled, "This is 300," you don't know if he's talking about the record label or you don't know if he's talking about his gang.
Yeah.
Those are the things of how even the record label industry, they are still connected. That 300 Entertainment is worth like $400 million.
$400 million.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But to kind of add a little bit to it was the whole thing about NBA YoungBoy. When he first started, he just put all his music on YouTube. He does not have physical copies of his album. He has
Oh,
basically
so
YouTube
Strange
playlists.
Strange said it means never broke again. That's
Yeah,
what
I think
NBA
that's what it
stood
does
for.
mean. Actually,
Thank you,
I think
Strange
it
Strange.
does mean that.
He also asked, so why are we having this conversation? So the reason we're having this conversation is mostly behind Lil Durk. So the FBI agent Sarah Cochran said in her affidavit that OTF members engaged in violence, including murder and assault, at the direction of Banks, which is Lil Durk's real last name, to maintain their status in OTF. Durk's representatives did not immediately respond to the emails from the source that I've gotten the information from. According to Corcoran's affidavit and other federal court records, the shooting stems from the November 2020 slaying OTF rapper King Von at 26 at an Atlanta nightclub after Von and Rondo Quando got into a fight. Records say a friend of Rondo's pulled a gun and shot Von several times, killing him. Von's, whose real name was Davon Bennett, had two hit singles, Crazy Story and Took Her to the O. The reason why I'm bringing this all up is because this generation seems to be getting caught up in RICO cases. You know, Young Thug is
Mm-hmm.
just now getting ready to come home. He has 15 years of probation, where he's pretty much got to turn into the real Smith of rappers of those of the. Would you say that he's a drill rapper? Young Thug's a drill rapper, or
No,
no?
Young Thug to me is not a drill rapper.
All right. So, but what he rapped about was the violence that he's seen in the community, right? So what's drill? See, that's the thing I always got the problem. Like, because they say Ti is the original drill rapper, And I wouldn't
No,
consider Ti
Ti would
drill,
be
but
it.
he would say he was. So that's
No,
why I'm
Ti
like,
is trap. Ti is trap. Ti is
okay,
trap.
trap
Young
music.
Thug is more closer to trap than he is to drill.
All right, so Young Thug's closer to trap than he is to drill. All right,
In my honest Georgia opinion, which they are both from Georgia.
yeah. All right, I'll take that. The interesting thing is that all these guys are getting caught up in RICO cases because of their
Mhm.
affiliation with these other groups, and this is something that happened to rappers in our generation who got caught up not in so much in RICO cases, but the U.S. government tried to create RICO cases again with Tupac and Biggie, with the record company in New York. What's that one that had Ja Rule and all of them on there? They try to get them on a RICO
Murder Inc.
case.
Murder Inc. Murder
Murder
Inc.
Inc. Yeah,
Murder
they tried
Inc.
to get them on a RICO case because I guess the person who funded them was a big time drug dealer, or he had an association with this individual. Then you have Death Row Records, which for sure was a mafia related corporation that now is owned by Snoop Dogg, which I find even more interesting that Snoop Dogg owns Death Row, and he just hopes Suge never get out because Suge will try to take it back over. I mean, there's a lot of danger around these institutions because I remember Death Row Records, like cats were getting like beat up, assaulted. That's the least of the revelations behind those corporations, and it just seems like there's always been a vector within rap where these individuals are caught up in these institutions where violence, crime, drugs, and when it comes to Diddy, butt touching is all a problem. And
I would say when you were talking, I thought about something too. One interesting thing is all these Rico and things, they're all independent record labels too, by the way. None of these are
yeah,
major
they're
record
never
companies.
that isn't that weird? And they're also all black, either
Most
associated
of them.
or owned record labels, but they never
No,
go
that's true.
after Universal. And the thing is interesting.
Well, they
There
are kind
is,
of. The Diddy case does have
I
Universal
was
in it,
just
by
about
the
to
way.
say that Diddy case is the first time where the government seems to want to go after the record company, the major record companies. And I think that's called justice because these record companies have gotten away with a lot of shit for a long time. Like, if anybody's mafia related, it's all these major corporations. They are dirty. They have connected themselves to crime and have never had to pay the piper ever.
Yeah. So, but I just because watching Curtis King, he says interesting things about basically he thinks what's trying to happen too is, and see, I like him because he talks about crazy shit that I would think about too. That basically the record company is trying to get ready to we ain't fucking with human real artists anymore. We
I think
may
that's
have
what's
somebody
happening.
that can. That's one of his kind of crazy outlandish theories, which I'm like, I wouldn't put it too far. We'd already like seen kind of the test run of AI tracks. They try to do a little test run of the Dirk. I mean not Dirk, the Drake diss track to Kendrick Lamar. I think that I wouldn't be too far off that. They may have somebody that says, "Hey, we just need you to understand how rappers talk, how they walk, how different areas should sound, and then give a framework for the algorithm to create a new song. And we're gonna say this is a new artist, and boom, 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 we putting it out there." I and it's weird because if all these independently owned, particularly black owned record labels are all of a sudden coming with Rico cases, all these other things and everything. And then a lot of artists themselves, like T.I. ain't rapping no more. T.I. trying to, further in acting or trying to be a stand up comedian. It's
Hold
kind
up,
of a weird
what
thing.
did you say? Stand up comedian?
Yeah. T.I.
I've
does stand
never
up.
seen him. He's trying to be a stand up now.
Yeah. You can YouTube it. I think there's a couple of videos out there of him doing stand up.
Wow, I did not. I did not know that. I haven't
But
really been
it's
paying attention to him a lot. So yeah, that's
but
news to me.
that's kind of the thing that if you want to take a crazy idea approach to it, it would be like, all right, cool. They don't like the fact that they are no longer the full blown gatekeeper, that
Hmm.
anybody can come in and directly put their music directly to the public. That type of music is the music that the public, or particularly the youth, tends to want to hear. It's not like they got to necessarily sell an actual album. They just got to have you subscribe to your Spotify, your Apple Music, your YouTube Music, or whatever, which a young generation can do $10 a month. You ain't buying a full blown album or a CD no more for $15. So yeah, we need to get rid of these people that are kind of undercutting us. We want them to have to pay directly for it, and the ones that are doing it real, if we can convince them to come over to us, then we can get them on with us. But then we're going to take a contract out on our insurance policy out on them. And that's another thing too. A lot of people don't talk about that. Curtis King hinted at a lot of these rappers of this era, when they get on a record label, they take out a insurance policy on them. So if they do die, the record label still makes money off of your death, and then they probably more than likely own your masters. So for the rest of
But don't
eternity,
they
those
also take out a life insurance on every artist they have on their label?
not to my knowledge, but then if you take it out on somebody that you know is fully connected still to a gang or some type of criminal enterprise, you're risking your return on investment unless you just know this person is so real that they eventually gonna die anyway, and then we just gonna clean up for the rest of people like for the rest of the eternity, as long as people like this music.
Yeah, it's kind of a crappy situation, right? That's something I've always found to be kind of concerning, is with the fact that they take out these life insurance and with the expectation that these individuals are gonna die, and actually it seems like with the expectation that they hope that this individual dies, and I just that is so disturbing to me, it really is.
I mean, it's the reality of it. And then it's funny that you mentioned that Young Thug now has to become the Will Smith of,
And
of
he
basically
does.
the
I
new
mean, at
era
least
Will
that's
Smith
how
of
they
rap.
try to make it sound.
But think about this. This is so interesting. So they got full connections that yo, you kind of did this shit, but
Mm.
because it's a mistrial and all got fucked, not mistrial, but it basically is all fucked. This is the longest running criminal trial in the state of Georgia. So that says something, but then it also says that they don't really know what they were doing, but that's the layers that can be covered, but like disconnection and oh
Uh-huh.
no, I just look, I'm just an artist. I don't know what they be doing. Oh, what do you mean they took my Sprinter van and did this? Oh, what do you mean I'm an artist. What do I know? Because that's slightly more believable compared to, oh no, I know how I'm pulling the strings behind it, but I cannot be in front of it because I
Yeah.
still have to uphold the image and I'm an artist and I just got to play the background. But
Yeah,
then
I just
compare
find
this
it
to the
weird
way it's
that that
working now.
situation happened.
When NBA YoungBoy got involved, his probation, it's extremely long too, because I know he's been on probation for like at least 5 years, but he just can't leave his compound and it's in Utah. So he has to get away from
That's
all the
even
gang
more
shit.
weird. So he can't leave the house at all.
Yeah, he is basically on house arrest.
So he's pretty much in his own.
He has a
He's in a
kid
very
with
expensive prison.
huh?
He's in a high class prison.
Basically, yeah. And he gets to do anything he wants, just can't leave.
Now, what did he do to get put in this situation?
I don't know the full backstory of everything that happened with him, but it was always weird to me because I was like, when I took notice of him, I'm like, wait, he don't got no albums, but he was a young kid that figured out that I just put my albums on YouTube. YouTube become my record label basically. I put my songs together. I put them together as a playlist. I put my thumbnails. I get my friends to shoot. It's the same scheme. I get my friends to shoot me a couple of videos. They're 3 minutes long. It's music. People play music videos back to back to back because they like a song. He did this, made tons of money, but I can't remember the exact. I would have to look it up to see exactly
I'm
what
a
his.
why you talk about the rest of this music situation. I'm gonna look up why he got put on this in the first place, because it seems crazy that a rapper that I barely know anything about is on house arrest. So
For an extremely long period of time, but extremely wealthy. His music still pops. People still play his song. He's still releasing his playlist albums and everything, and he's still making money. Still gets all his kids. They fly in to see him. His family comes to visit him. He's in a big ass mansion. He still shoots music videos. He still got his house monitor bracelet on his ankle. The only thing he can't do is leave. And they because I swear it has something to do with some type of gang affiliation or ties. But yeah, he's up in I think it's Utah. But that's his life. Compared to it's funny because the whole Young Thug situation. I mean, it could be done,
so
but
he
Georgia.
pled guilty to weapon charges, federal weapon charges.
Okay, so there you go.
Gosh.
But I mean, which one is worse? I think it's weird for Young Thug because I think they say they're trying to remove him from. Well, it's the same situation because you can't be where you're from. So you got to go somewhere else. But then I think the interesting thing with Young Thug, they said he can't even make references to anything such
He
as
can't. Yeah, he can't make any references. I mean, he gotta become Will Smith. He gotta talk about the Wild Wild West. Young Thug, Wild Wild West.
And that could be considered game related. I
That's
mean,
scary too, because that's absolutely true. So I guess what NBA YoungBoy did, he's a convicted felon and he had a gun, and so they threw the book at him, and he just took 5 years, or it seems like 5 years of probation. But he just recently got in trouble for uh, failing to abide by those ruls. So
oh, okay.
it just he's a knucklehead because he seems to be like 24 years old. So I mean, come on, dude, you got
But
your
if
whole
you're
life
that
ahead of
young with
you.
all this money, and the thing too is the record label that he got connected to, they're the ones that kind of brokered the deal because they're like he is their cash cow. And this is something that didn't get brought up. What if, and this is crazy Kenny thoughts, what if they are trying to get all these extraordinarily good rappers to be somewhere like on house arrest just so they can start saying, hey, we know your money is getting low because you can't do your shows, you can't travel anything. Do you want to work for us programming AI rappers for us? And we'll give you whatever. And then so now you got people like NBA YoungBoy, Young Thug that are all locked up in one place. They're not in jail though, but now they are become the AI ghostwriters of future AI fake ass artists that the younger generation is not going to know anything different. That there used to be a real person that lived a real somewhat life that had to come up with a story, whether it was Nas looking out his window, whether it was 50 Cent just wanting to make it out, whether it was whoever. But the whole thing about particularly rap music, which is record companies have been saying they're not even looking for new rap artists. It's just gonna become a rap artist is an AI voice simulated with a just a hot song that the young generation just find to be a hot song. That's not even that long. Be a minute, 2 minutes and like 15 seconds. Quick, quick 16 here, a slight verse and a half or eight here, and then you're done. But that song is played so many times that the record companies who don't even have to hire real people anymore, they just can sit back and collect revenue. Crazy idea, right?
It's not crazy because honestly, it's capitalism. I don't think you're crazy. I don't know if it's happening, but I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, maybe 5 years ago, you know me, Kenny. 5 years ago, I would say you crazy. Now I'm like, with all the bullshit that we see, of course they would, because that's what capitalism is. Like I said, man, capitalism means that they can. It pretty much means that some lives matter and some lives don't. Some voices matter and some voices don't. If we can monetize without having to pay the artists, I mean, of course they would do that. I mean, they want to do that with film. They want. I mean, they're literally. I think some artists right now have given their life rights to like certain institution
Mm-hmm.
of film so they can have in perpetuity their rights to their work.
Story.
And supposedly, I guess a AI company just signed a contract with, I think it was Paramount or something like that, to all their films in teaching their AIs how to do create screenplays and stuff like that. So this is really fucking crazy, man. And the fact is, of course, but how does the other problem with AI is funny. I don't want AI to make my movies. I want it to do the work that I don't want to do. I
Yeah.
want to have the time to make screenplays and write music. I don't want AI writing the music. I want AI taking out the trash. I want AI figuring out how to make the freeways run better. I want AI to make my life less work for me so I can spend more time doing the things I want to do. Yet somehow AI only exists in capitalism to make corporations more rich and the
Yeah.
American people more of on put more American people on plantations so they can work their asses off for some bullshit.
All it is, if you think about it like this, AI, if it, and it is not there yet, but if you think about the crazy shit that Elon Musk had just did, and then the way the AI works, particularly with just human grammar, the large language model, all AI is becoming. If they confuse those two things together, a actual physical thing that can physically move stuff, or can physically build other things that can move stuff, and then the intelligence to understand what it's doing. The only thing it's going to do is not complain. It doesn't have the the quote unquote human soul, the quote unquote understanding of oppression, in the sense that the whole iRobot movie, the number one rule of a robot is never harm a human. If they can get that, then yes. But that is the thing that people don't get. Is like, soon as they don't need you because you haven't leveled up your skill, or you haven't gave your ability to enjoy your passion, they don't need that warm human body that's going to complain anyway. If I'm a corporation, I'm like, yeah, I would love to get rid of the underpaid workers so I can have some free workers that would never complain about shit. And if that's a robot and with AI, just because I say, hey, go do this, this, and this, and this doesn't show up to work late, doesn't have family, it doesn't have to do a work-life balance. The most thing I got to probably let it do is go charge overnight for 8 hours, but then I got another one right in the back. So that one is charging for the 8 hours, I can bring the other one in. It's the same thing. Bring it back to the music. If I no longer have to pay somebody, or I'll throw this kind of loophole in it real quick. It's got me thinking. When what's his name? Meek Mills.
Yeah.
When Meek Mills got out of jail and then he started kind of shifting his life, when he found out how much money his music made compared to how much he thought it made, he was hot. But then he also realized, was like, they have my stuff forever, because what they were basically giving him is, oh, because your music is streamed and you get this much of the stream. But he was never, and that's one of the big things about the music company with streaming. They don't really tell the artist how much a stream is worth. They'll say, oh, you got streamed this many times, this is how much it is, compared to how much money they know they get. I mean, out of everybody, they either got one of the three. They either got Spotify, Apple Music, or YouTube Music.
Yeah.
And it costs what? Probably about $10 a month on average.
Apple Music, like $11 or something.
Okay, so around that.
Yeah.
But if you know that you get paid for how many times your song is played, and the coolest thing about music that some people have figured out, but that's also the thing that they're trying to change, is people will play a song back to back to back to back.
Oh,
to back, to back.
I'm absolutely guilty of that. What song recently did I play over and over again? And it's not even like a perfect example. So, Nakri is a artist. He's a hardcore like rock artist, but he sounds like Michael Jackson. Okay. And so I listened to his song, like, I swear, I was doing a video for the gaming channel. So I was playing the song over and over again because I was building a video around it. So it was just constantly playing while I'm working. And so I'm adding, it probably played 100 times because it took me like an hour to put together the project, right? So in that hour, and the song's what, 4 minutes, 5 minutes? So within that hour, it played, 20, 30 times.
Okay.
That's 30 streams of that song over and over again, just because I'm building the project around it. So I'm not going to play any other music while I'm building the project. And
there could be somebody doing the same thing.
And there is somebody else doing it, because the thing is, there's a lot of people like this Nakri blew up. All these other people started building projects around his art because he said, "Hey, make videos, make shorts of my song, so everybody knows what my song is." So people started doing it. They were building projects on YouTube, on shorts, and they were getting hundreds of thousands of views. So if he was getting paid righteously for the amount of times his song is played, this dude should be rich for the rest of his life. There's no question, because there's no way that song, like some of the videos have 100,000 views. I mean, that song's been played 100,000 times on one view, right? Mine's had like 1,000 views or something like that the last time I looked. So that's 101,000. Like, dude, there has to be a righteous way to pay these individuals, right? Because the math don't math. Now, I had that conversation with someone. I said, the math don't math. So if the math don't math, there's something going on here. And with AI music, I mean, YouTube is teaching their AI algorithm how to do it. You can go in there right now and create original AI music on YouTube by just telling it.
I haven't seen it on YouTube yet.
Yeah, so on YouTube, when you make it short, it gives you a choice in the corner. to use their, their copyrighted music, or you can tell it the type of
Oh, okay.
music you want to hear, and it can create that and put it into your music.
Okay.
So I haven't messed around with it because uh it's a different type of language. It's funny.
Mhm.
So when music and all these things and the way we speak, people are going to have become more vocal in how they explain the things around them. Um, there's a, and therein lies where there's going to be that shift in literacy. There's
Mhm.
literacy you can read, and then there's literacy you can actually communicate
Mhm.
the world around you through the words that you have, right? For instance, right? Um, I come from medicine like you do, so I know what pulsating is. That's a
Mhm.
type of communication that I have, right? So I went to the bathroom and I noticed that there was a pulsating sound coming from my toilet.
Mhm.
Now, I went on YouTube and I tried to find what that answer. Why was this pulsating sound? And it didn't exist because that type of communication is rare. Even though I think that most people understand pulsating and what that
Mhm.
means in a verbal way, you can connect it to the sound. But most people don't understand pulsating by the sound. They know pulsating by an abstract concept. So they're not going to say their toilet is pulsating. They're going to be like, my heart was, my emotions were pulsating. But when I
Mhm.
say pulsating, you know what that sounds like,
Mhm.
right? And most people don't even put that to a sound. They put it to a feeling. They
Yeah,
put it
that was what I was about to
maybe
say. Most people
maybe
only put
to
it to a
music,
feeling.
maybe. But the pulsating sound I was talking about was kind of like a vessel sound that was coming from my toilet, and I found only one plumber that actually used the language that then he can convey to me what it was. And it was like a rubber gasket going bad. This pulsating sound is the pressure being constantly like brokered with inside the
Between
toilet
it.
valve system. You know, it took me forever to find it though. And then I realized like for music and all these other avenues, when you say, will they put these rappers in these little boxes so they can use them? It's because these rappers are very good at communicating poetically about the world around them in ways that most people do not communicate at all. And so it makes sense.
Mhm.
If I can teach if you can give me the greatest lyricist like Royce the 5'9", and I can teach my AI algorithm how to be like Royce the 5'9", then I'll have the greatest lyricist AI robot ever. And that's probably why I haven't been messing around with the AI music for YouTube, is because I feel like we're taking something away. Like I don't want the AI to do that part. You know what I want AI to do? I want AI to clean up the mistakes within my work. Where there's a gap between a scene, I want the AI to realize that and fix it. I don't want the AI to write my screenplay. I want it to just fix the mistakes within my concept and within the work I'm doing. You know what I want AI to do? I want AI I don't mind AI, scrubbing through what I said and looking for mistakes. I don't want AI just to come up with the idea on its own and do it. You know what I really don't like is when I go on YouTube and it's all these AI channels with these AI voices, and they're not even saying anything. Like there's a Lil Durk video right now on YouTube talking about the case, and all it is it's just regurgitating what it found
Yeah.
on the internet, and it's bad. It's bad. There's
Well,
no
because
elucidation of the subject matter.
well, one of the things too, and I'm trying to bring it back around to what we're talking about. A lot of the stuff with the AI stuff, it doesn't have any feelings.
There you go.
I
It's
know me and you,
emotionless. Thank you. That's what I was
yeah,
looking
it's
for.
emotionless. Me and you, we've been doing this YouTube thing or video stuff thing for a while now. And me and you, we go back and forth about certain things. There's this balance between, to me, having too many feelings about something that can be seen as not
True.
authentic compared to some having just a very factual way of saying things, which is very feeling less because it's just facts.
Yeah,
There's this.
we do have those conversations where I be like, there's too much emotion in it, and it's just to be logical, and you're like, that's not how people engage with the world. They engage with the world more through emotion than they do through any logical concepts, and that's where we'll find our conflicts. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But I understand when you say that if AI is doing all this, even with that happening and with these artists and stuff,
Artists, yeah.
it's going to lose that emotion and feeling. Now, that emotion and feeling, that's that one little weird word you decide to use, that one little drum beat you decide to shift different. That's the human natural mistake or creativeness that you can make with music. AI would do it too perfect. It will lose that. It'll lose when like Dirk will say a word that he's probably just wanted to say, but because a Midwest accent or because he hears the word differently, he's going to say it the way he says it.
Hmm.
Compared to
It's too
um,
perfect. But do you think that AI could get so? So it's an interesting thing. Like reason why I love Lauryn Hill's "The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill" is because of the emotion in every single one of the songs, and the reason why I like that her MTV Unplugged is because it's imperfect. You can
mhm,
hear the emotion and the sounds in the voice. That's where music is, where true music lives, right? It lives in that imperfectness. And the reason why
yeah,
I don't like the AI, regurgitation of bullshit on YouTube or even AI voices because they lack any sense of emotion or urgency or connection to reality. Seems so just straightforward. Why would I want to hear that? When it comes to these rappers, the lost generation, I think there's a lot of exploitation around them. We bring it to a close here. There's a lot of exploitation both by our society. It's the monetization of blackness. It's the fact that these guys feel or were allowed to perform performative art that was closely associated to violent communities, and it's an example of capitalism off the backs of black poverty and
yeah,
anguish and pain, suffering. I mean, these corporations are making billions of dollars off of our suffering, and it's funny because one thing Mike said when we were talking on the show on Thursday, I believe, or Wednesday, whenever we did. He said that at the end of it, he's like, I can only blame ourselves because we allow it. We allow ourselves to be exploited like that. And it really does. It really is true. We allow our communities to be exploited. We allowed ourselves to be exploited. We allowed our swagger to be exploited. And it's never benefited us by allowing that to happen in our community. We can see right now with the fact that we've been abandoned by our country for, you know, misogyny and white supremacy, even though in the United States, the biggest culture, the most influential culture in the United States is black culture. We are America. White people are not America. There is nothing about them that people around the world look to say, oh, that's what America is. They listen to us. We influence other countries. We influence countries we don't even go to. Korea, K-pop. That's all influenced by us, not by them.
yeah.
These cats are
I
trying to
mean, that's
sound
true.
like us. You go to Japan, they got rappers. Who are they trying to sound like? Us. You go to these other countries, we influence the world. We Americans influence Africa. They don't need to be influenced by us, but we absolutely do. We completely have more influence in Africa than Africa has influence on us.
That's
And
true.
that
I
is
mean,
facts.
that's true. And I'll end it with this last couple of statements then, because I want to check time right quick. It's been a
We're
while since
at
I did this.
52 minutes.
All right, cool. So the thing about a lot of this too is these rappers, particularly, they are extremely creative individuals. One thing about, and I will give you this challenge if you decide to undertake it. Go actually listen to a Young Thug album. You'll be amazed at how he puts songs together and things. But you got to think about comparing him to an Old school artist doesn't work. Comparing him to a new school artist doesn't work. Out of the
No,
weird
I've
lyricism,
listened to Young Thug. I listened to Young Thug, and I've listened to Future. I
but
feel
Young Thug does extremely weird creative lyricism, but people love it. That is the one, and that's something that AI could not recreate. You cannot, the way he thinks about words and things to put them together, that sound like, what are you saying, dude? But then he'll layer it, put it over a beat the right way, and it's like, what the heck? This sounds dope as hell.
very creative.
YNW Melly, difference between taking old school R&B songs but making them hardcore, but then kind of still being extremely melodic over them, but not like in a Bone Thugs type of way.
No. He has his own way, but I really liked his sound. Like Brian W. Melly was, like I said before, like I really enjoyed his music. I absolutely enjoyed listening to YNW Melly. But when he got caught up in all this nonsense with this thread of violence, but I don't even, it's not even a thread of violence. It's a thread of exploitation of black culture, black suffering, and making money off of it.
Yeah, and I'm getting to it. And then you can take, because I'm talking about the three in the thumbnail right now. Then you can take Durk from rough beginnings to not being the star of the quote unquote duo to becoming the star, because everybody's like, no, we love what you're saying. You're really telling the true story, blah, 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 blah. Then becoming bigger than everything because he had this thing about not lying. I'm going to tell you what really happened, which will get your ass in trouble a lot because I'm a person that suffers from not lying and getting in trouble for just telling the truth and being too honest sometimes. But then comes along a record company, a business that says, hey, we see y'all got, the kids use the word motion now. You got some motion. We want to give you some money to keep doing what you're doing. All right, cool. Now I can do what I'm doing on a larger scale. The problem is what I'm doing is talking about what I was doing before, for the most of them, more like Durk. But now, because I'm so big and moving on, that even the people that aren't at my level that are connected to me, they still feel like we're more empowered because now we got money, we got the biggest star. Now we gonna act an ass in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
The companies can look at this and like, hey, you either can tone it down or what, but they're like, no, everybody running around OTF, only the family, 300 or whatever it is, whatever initials you put in front of your name, behind your name, on the side of your name, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting so much money from this. Your records are streaming, you're selling out shows, you know, all this stuff. But because all the money's coming in, they never want to take the time to say, hey, should we change something? And Durk actually was trying to make a little bit of a change, but when he made that little change, and the music just didn't hit the same. And I guess they were kind of like, hey, you need to go back to kind of what you were doing. But he was still trying to stay away from it for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But because it got so big, all of a sudden you find out you got people in your camp that wearing wires. You got people in your camp that are actually snitching. And then if you want to take it to a brutal sense, if you are the person pulling the strings because you are the person with the money, you still have people in your camp that aren't listening to you and still going out and doing the thing that you may have said, don't do that. Look, I'm bigger than that now. Me and this person had a beef. We don't need to fight them. We don't got to, put a hit out on them. We just go do our music. I'm trying to get new artists on. I'm trying to get us all out the hood or out of whatever situation. The corporation's like, nah. But all those things come together. It makes it crazy. So I will finish with this. The title of The Lost Generation of Rap, I don't fully agree, but I can understand how it can look that way.
Uh-huh.
Because even with the amount of violence they talk about in the outside world of America, for the most part, it's not as violent as it was back in the day. And that is more because back then you had the drug problem. So I the title I can hold, but I don't honor to the same level of, are they really the lost generation? They're not my generation, but I can see why they are created or a lot of things that they do.
Absolutely. But I think we elucidated. We had a pretty good conversation there about these artists. Maybe considering them the lost generation might be the lost. I mean, generation is. How would you say it then? Because I think the things that inform this generation have been informing the entire generation of exploitation, a lifetime of exploitation. The society has exploited these individuals for so long.
There you go. The exploited generation.
Yeah, I think that's
because they get
more a
exploited
fair
by the
way.
internet. They get exploited by the things that they can achieve. They get exploited by the people that know that they are worth something other than just who they are as a person.
Mhm.
And that's what I think.
You're absolutely right. I think they're a generation of exploitation has come to a heed because of society's obsessed on capitalism, putting the money in the pockets of those and not really helping out the community of these individuals. And with that said, close it out, Kenny. I think you made a good point. Not a lost generation, it's an exploited generation.
Yeah. With that being said, this is Dianoia stirring it up. I took a hiatus for the month of October. I'm trying to get back. We're gonna be doing the Friday shows, getting back on schedule. Not so much politicky, but more of things that's going on. I guess we're kind of doing a slight angle to things that are forming more of the minority community, people of color, black, brown, all those things. I love music. If you know me, you know I love music. So it'll probably be on that angle. We're probably gonna do some more TV shows and things in that angle. But yeah, please tune in. We're trying to do this every Friday, 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, 9:30 Pacific time, and hopefully maybe we get our other homeboy that y'all seen on the other show when Darrell did it. Mike will come back and we can have a 3 panel discussion. But that's the
Absolutely.
hoping.
Absolutely.
That's all I got.
Good show. That said, thanks for coming through, Strange, and all the other people watch on the other platforms. We'd like to say thank you. Check us out on our YouTube channel. Check us out on our Twitch channel. Check us out on Facebook. With that said, catch you guys on the next one. Peace.